Voila. Let's walk a little bit over this way. We don't want to be like.
Yeah. I choked up before starting the live.
Oh, we're
so
already.
let us know how the audio is. I think we figured it out because we have to come to DJI to figure it out how to plug this to the phone. So this one's gonna be a live. Where's my camera though?
Where's your camera?
Inside the store.
I don't know.
No, wait. Yes.
So we're playing a prank on him right now because he like left the camera on the counter.
Leave the camera.
He left, so we grabbed it, and now he's gonna go crazy to fix it. No. So you're watching right now.
Dude, my camera's gone.
On Gaston, and he's totally freaking out because he doesn't know where his camera is. Let's go over there and see. Let's try to surprise him over there. What's going on?
I'm gonna kick your ass. Dude!
You left it on the counter.
You literally left it and just like walked
the whole
out.
time I was
All
like,
right.
not even noticing.
Hey, this was staged. No, BS. I did forget the camera there. I was trying to.
So we got your back, but it was great for a live prank, so it's awesome.
Anyways,
Anyway,
in today's video, we're gonna be talking about the Leica Q343. Shout out to the jokers right here that made me believe that the camera was gone, but it's a lot of noise. How's the sound? Good?
Test. 1, 2, 3.
So, anyway, once again, we're here with Omar Robles, native street photographer from New York, and we both are going to be talking about our experience with this camera. It is extremely noisy in New York, and
As per usual.
as usual, like machines everywhere. So we're going to be driving down.
Let's cross the street.
Yeah, let's go that
Well,
way, right there.
I have to wait now.
So,
Wait, we have to wait.
Just talk a little bit. Yeah, while we're stuck in here. So I own the Leica Q3, and now this one. So I can share my experience for those that may be wondering, is it that much different? The bottom line is going to be the body is going to be the same, ergonomic menu, autofocus. The performance is actually the same as the Leica Q3. What I do like about this camera is that it is closer to my kind of like preferred focal length for street photography, which is 35. Whereas the 28 sometimes feels too wide for certain things. So in my opinion, this one will get more hours. Now, there you go. And this one's kind of like a quick guide for those figuring out which one to pick if you don't have none of them. The 28 you can always crop. You cannot go wider with this, so I think that's the main thing you have to keep in mind. But you know, if you do portraits, this one is going to be the one to get. And if you do, you know, environmental, architectural, again, you're going to have to decide. But Omar, what do you think about this camera? Because you still own the Q3?
I still own the Q3, and the thing is that, interestingly enough, New York City, it's a place where it's a great litmus test for this camera because you have so many people. You have so many people in the street, and it gets really congested that oftentimes I find the 28 to be kind of like an ideal focal length for New York City. 28, 35, just because of how congested, you know, the people and the city is. So this is an interesting litmus test for this camera because oftentimes, at least in New York City, I find the 50 a little bit too narrow, but I think, you know, this focal length could be like an interesting sweet spot. Sometimes with 28, it forces you to be way too close to people, and oftentimes also you end up having too much space that is you know, like kind of harder to fill. So yeah, I mean, that just on the idea, you know, the idea or the concept behind the focal length. But other than that, I feel that the camera itself performs extremely well, very similar to the you know, Q3. It's essentially the same camera. What's interesting to see, and I don't know in terms of the autofocus performance if they have made any changes, but it is a new lens where like the 28, we had that lens for like 3 generations now with the Q, Q2, Q2 monochrome, Q3, and it's the exact same lens. Whereas this one, it's a brand new lens. It's not just an Apple chromatic design, but I wonder like if in terms of like the autofocus mechanics and stuff like that, they did any improvement. So it'd be interesting to see that in terms of that, but so far I'm enjoying it quite well. And the image quality that I've seen from the file so far has been spectacular, but that's to be expected in a certain way. So I'm really happy about that.
And to me, to be honest with you, I know a lot of people don't like it. I love the flip out screen. Why I love the flip out screen? I shoot a lot. I mean, my main camera is the M11 monochrome. And for example, look at this picture right here. I would have to get on the floor to photograph this beautiful lady. By the way, you look amazing. Amazing. So see, I mean, I just leaned a little bit, you know, not going down on the floor. And with my Leica M11 monochrome, I find myself, you know, having to hit the floor. Look at this, a little bit underexposed. A little bit underexposed there. But all those, you know, with the camera around my waist, not spooking anybody. And a lot of the times, you know, to me, it's all about getting the shot, not looking like a photographer by the book. I don't really care how I look, just care about getting those shots. And if a tail screen is what it does it for me, the tail screen is what it does it for me. So I really like that. And the fact that it's a 43, in my opinion, it makes it a little bit more versatile in some situations. For example, I love to capture portraits on the street. And a 43 is much more suitable than a 28 in my opinion, although with the Q343, you can still, you know, capture amazing portraits. But the depth of field, I don't know if you can see this one, we were before talking to some kids from Israel, and there you go. I mean, the depth of field, as you can see, the bokeh, that's at f2, it's really, really pleasant. And at 28 millimeters, you're gonna get a complete different, you know, depth of field. And these kids were really, really nice. You know, they were preaching their, you know, their gospel, their religion, and I captured those pictures. I think I was at f11 there, and then I decided to go f2, as you can see there. So yeah, I mean, if you do a lot of portraits and a lot of tie, this is the one to get. Also, I think that if you are new to photography, this one is also the one to get. I think 28, if you're at a party or if you're, you know, everything's gonna look too wide, you know, because the 28 requires you be right in the action. And if that's what you like, as long as you're mindful, 28 is great. I use it. I mean, probably I'm gonna start coming out with both, you know, the 43 and the 28. But my main street photography camera is the M11 monochrome with a 35 apo. This camera does not replaces that camera for personal reasons.
For now.
But like I mentioned, you know, if for example today, perfect. You know, I'm gonna do a lot of low angles without having to go on the floor and get all that arthritis activated while doing so. Right, Omar?
Yep.
There you go.
But you know what I like about the Q system in general is the fact that it's much more versatile, especially when traveling. You know, like I love the M system, but when I'm traveling, you never know what kind of weather you're gonna hit. And having a system that it's pretty versatile in terms of like what weather conditions you can use it, it's a big advantage. So I've loved the 28, the Q, you know, Q2, Q2 monochrome, and now the Q3, and I've really loved that system. But I'm really happy and curious to looking forward now to see what we're gonna get from this one at 43. And again, having that versatility of having a camera and a lens that I can take out with me, you know, regardless of the weather conditions, and be able to, you know, not be too concerned about if the equipment is gonna, you know, suffer any damages. So that's why for me the Q system has always kind of been, you know, like a daily driver, and that's why I'm also excited to, you know, try this one, because for certain circumstances, I think, you know, especially when you travel abroad, sometimes I feel that the 28 can be a little bit too wide, because as I was mentioning before, in New York City that is very congested. You can see, you know, it makes sense because people are sometimes on top of you, and like having something that is too narrow, it makes it hard. But
Can I take a portrait of you for YouTube? Sure? You look amazing. So we're doing a video about this camera. So I want to take a portrait of you, natural light, f2. This man looks incredible. Gaston Shutters on Instagram, man. You got Instagram there?
Yeah, I got one more
From this angle? I mean, out of focus works flawlessly.
Got a second time. This is the second time it's happened.
Really, today? I mean, when you look good, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it is. That's me right there. Send me a text message, and I mean, DM, and I'll send you the picture. Thank you, man. So yeah, I mean, really nice. I mean, and in lower light, look at, I mean, this is in complete shade. And what are the parameters here? So the parameters are ISO 1. Yeah, so parameters are 1000 ISO f2, and the shutter speed is 80. And this is extremely sharp. Like, extremely sharp. Extremely sharp. I mean, the camera exposes really good. The metering mode is going to be very important.
What?
Now, the metering mode that I use, specifically in days like this, overcast, center weighted. You know, so the camera is going to meter in the center of the screen. Usually I frame in the center of the screen. My opinion, that's the best. Maybe at night I would change to the multi-field, just to kind of like expose to an average of the environment and the subject. But for the most part, you know, center weight is the way it goes for me with any camera, even the M11s. That, you know, that's it. I live it there. In terms of white balance, out of white balance. You know, I shoot, as you can see, I converted my display to monochrome. So basically, I choose the high contrast monochrome for JPEG. So then I get the JPEGs in high contrast, which pretty much leaves my photos the way I grade them in the M11 monochrome. High contrast, you know, very rich, deep contrast, and it allows me to kind of preview the image, you know, in monochrome, which is even better, a plus. So, what else? Let's talk about this thing right here in the camera. So the camera comes with a lens hood, but that lens hood doesn't fit the UV filter that Leica makes. And when you activate the macro, the lens actually extends a little bit and it clashes with the lens hood. So number one, I don't like lens hood, and number two, I'd much rather have a UV filter to protect the lens than a fancy lens hood just to look cool. I mean, because it does look really cool. But that's just me, you know. This is better than just a lens hood that does not protect the lens. And this camera is, I mean, this lens, there you go. Oh, wow. Beautiful hair. And this lens is actually, really flare resistant, so I don't even sweat it. Where do we go? So where do you guys want to go now?
Just going up closer to Columbus Circle.
Olivia, tell us what you got going on there.
Like which camera I have?
Yeah.
M11P with a 28mm lens.
How do you like it?
Love it. It's great.
Good.
Love to shoot wide angle. And it's my favorite for street photography, or 21mm. And I mean, it's perfect for me.
Versatile. So I'm gonna be listing all the links of all social media platforms so you can follow all of them. She's amazing, from France. What part of France are you from?
Paris.
She's from Paris, New York, Miami.
New York.
What's up? We list all the handlers in a little bit. So where are we gonna be walking now?
I say we walk towards Columbus Circle. I will then part ways with you guys then.
And we probably in a little bit. About 5 something, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like a nice area as well.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
So, hey, Omar, regarding Q3 and 43, which one do you like best? Is there question.
Between the 43
Or
and the 28?
Yeah,
I mean,
because you shoot 50 a lot.
I do, so it's kind of hard. Honestly, I'm always oscillating between like all those focal lenses. So I don't even know if oscillating is the right word, but I'm always, you know, switching
Bouncing back and
bouncing
forth?
back and forth. I want it to be fancy. I want it to be fancy for YouTube. Is that
He
fine?
loves to oscillate.
I love to oscillate. But we're Latinos. I know what he's thinking, and he knows what I'm thinking as well.
Always have to be taken in
yeah.
another context.
There's
but
always
it
a
is what
double
it is.
entendre. But so I'm always bouncing in between those focal lenses. So I think I'm okay. It's a matter of, I don't know, mood as well. You know, sometimes I don't feel like I want to be like, you know, sticking, you know, like so close to people. So having this alternative, I think, is great. I honestly really look forward to keep working and playing with this camera. What you got there? Nice.
I wish you can tap to focus in YouTube. You cannot.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
So no, that's good.
But yeah, now we're walking. This is like Midtown Manhattan. We're about 50-something street, maybe closer to 60th. We're just in Fifth Avenue. We're walking now north to a little bit more of the west side, or 8th Avenue and Columbus Circle and whatnot. Usually during sunny days, this would be my route. I would start like in, you know, around West 4th, and then walk north because you have the sun behind you, so you can get like really nice, you know, sunny shots because, you know, like as you walk north, the sun is always lighting your subjects. So this would normally be my, you know, my route when I'm out and about, you know, doing street photography. But even during, you know, during overcast days, that's a good, and the beauty about overcast days is that you're not so linked to the direction of the light. So you can, you know, like move up and down a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, today it's kind of like that, moody, but I don't mind it. You know, I kind of like it. New York is like that.
I want to say something about something I realized, you know, when I swapped from M11 bodies and let's say the 35mm Apple lens, which is my kit, that's my go-to thing. The weight of this camera, and I love things that weigh nothing. I love small lenses. And while this lens is not the smallest one, as a matter of fact, it's a little bit longer than the 28. The camera is actually really light. It's way lighter than, some noise in here. It's way lighter than the Leica Q3 28mm. And to me, a lighter camera is a camera that I can walk way longer. So I really like that. Another thing that I want to talk about is battery life. I think battery life in the Q line, just like the SL line, is not the best, but it's not the worst. So yesterday I went out with one battery and I was kind of like trickle charging the battery with my battery pack, and I went through the whole day, morning through night like that. But I can see how 2 batteries is the way to go with this if you're gonna, you know, keep the camera on for a long time. But yeah, it's good. I mean, it's better than a lot of other cameras out there.
Well, on the subject of battery, since we're there,
I think it's kind of like the SL3 type of, you know, length. Maybe the SL3 is a little bit.
I think the SL3
more,
is less efficient.
Yeah, because of the IBIS.
You know, I can squeeze maybe 2.5 hours on the Q3 generally. So I think this feels very similar. But I was just gonna mention the whole no charger debacle now with the new packaging, because the M11D didn't bring the charger. This one is also not bringing the charger. It's an interesting choice that they're making, but I think, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a weird choice. I guess all brands are kind of going on that route as well. You know, like Apple is doing the same thing, and maybe all other brands are doing the same thing. I kind of get it. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, you have a camera that can charge wireless, that can charge, you know,
With
the
USB-C.
battery in camera, so it's great. But when you're traveling and you need two batteries, charged, then it would be cool to have like a charger. I will say though, the charger of the previous charger of the Q3 and the Q line in general, it was not USB, so that presented its own challenge. So I was happy to see that the M11 charger was USB, and now maybe go ahead, because my mind just.
You forgot.
I forgot.
Now, one of the things that I wanted to mention, and I did in the prior live that had turbo audio, what I like about this lens, probably better than the Leica Q3 20 millimeters, is right over here. So I like the focal distance here, the distance scale. It's much more usable in my opinion than the one on the 28 millimeters. You have ranges that are very, very useful, useful at least for the way I shoot. So 0.6, close focus, 0.8, 1 meter, 1.3, 2, 4, and infinity. So over here, probably we are at 8 or 7. Over here, we're probably at, 3, 1.5. So it's really easy to eyeball, and I think that probably the Leica Q line is the only camera with an autofocus lens that behaves like a Leica manual lens. I mean, what other lens has this design?
Because at least no Leica lens with this design, because the SL line or the L lenses, they're very minimalistic in design. So even to turn into manual, it's like a camera, toggling with
like for example, Fuji cameras, which I have an X100 and the 5 before, but you don't have this, So if you come in from, let's say, check it out, we have it right here. So if you look at the design of a Leica manual lens and you take a look at the design of this lens, Leica has done the same. You even have a 90-degree throw. As you see, it goes from here to here. Yeah, about 90 degrees. So this is really good because it's very familiar to what you may be used to with your average 35, 50, 28 millimeter lenses. So right over here, she's at 5.6. Distance scale here, 0.7 meter. The same way it works here, So I just dialed my aperture f11, of course 11, and right over here, I'm at 0.7 meter. If I would want to do something close focus, obviously zone focus is going to be best for a little bit further and with a with a narrower aperture. But I treat this camera like I treat a Leica M11 monochrome with a 35. So I find myself not really relying on the autofocus in situations that I can take control of the framing, of the distance, and that's the way I shoot with the M11 monochrome. Just zone focus, F11, F8 during the day. Maybe at night is when, I spend a little bit more time to refine my focus. When I do a portrait, that I want my aperture to be, as wide as possible. And another thing that I want to mention is that the 20 millimeters lens from the Q3, people call it a Summilux. But when you think about it, that could also be called a Summicron. 1.7 Summicrons are 2.0, Summiluxes are 1.4. So there is that 0.3 millimeter gap. So you could go either way. But this lens could probably be a 1.7. I think Leica just decided to go 2. I don't know.
Como anoche.
Sucio. All right.
Yes. 28, 1.7. Yeah, I've always also had a little bit of that thought that, it's in between like a Summicron or like a Summilux.
And at 26 millimeters, it's really hard to tell 1.7 from 2.
Yeah. I mean, light gathering wise, yes, you can see that.
Oh. She gave me the hiney.
She doesn't want to move. Let's go up. It's crust.
I love the tilt screen. A lot of people don't like it. Honestly, I just like it. Just do this, look at this shot, boom. And I'm actually cropping right now by accident. Oh, by the way, so you have this button right here that has the digital crop. The Q3 has it too. So you can crop to different, focal lengths. Of course, depth of field doesn't change. But this only applies for the JPEG. So if you want to rock with the JPEGs, whatever you shoot in that crop mode, when you download the JPEG, it's going to be cropped for you. And added to the fact that you have those, I call the simulations, like the one that I use is the high contrast black and white. I don't have to do anything with those JPEGs, and the quality is really good. If I want to treat this like a 75, boom, crop and do it.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that usage, especially like at certain venues that you cannot bring cameras with zoom lenses and whatnot. Having the ability to crop in that much with a 43mm angle, I think that's also going to be like an interesting advantage. Another thing that I'm curious to, and this is just like stuff that people have said of the interwebs regarding the 43mm, is the fact that it's the most natural focal distance in terms of like the sensor itself, the full frame sensor, and apparently it's more corrected for like distortions and whatnot. So I'm curious to see how that translates in real life.
And he saw something. That's Omar. Run, Forrest, run. So, did you catch what you wanted?
Say it again?
Almost.
Sometimes you have to run. When you gotta run, you gotta run.
So see, being able, I love to shoot like from the bottom up, so yeah. And
Don't make me say it.
Look at that. Boom. That's it. Standing up. Boom. There you go. This is not artistic photography. It's demonstration of feature of the camera, because we're not even concentrating right now. Just trying to explain.
Speak
what
for
we
yourself.
feel.
I'm being artistic here, bro.
Dude, you're running after dogs and cats.
Yeah, there you go. I'm out there getting the shot.
Hey, we haven't got punched by nobody today.
I've never been.
So, that's another thing, you know, today has been pretty quiet. We've gone out with Omar a few times. Remember when I got pushed by someone one time?
By whom?
When I was reviewing my picture and someone came in, boom, don't take a picture of me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm not even taking a picture of you.
I'm not even taking a picture. Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
But I think, so it's a weird week in New York because there's a UN General Council something happening. So there's a lot of like streets that are blocked, and there's a lot of traffic that's also like, you know, congesting the city. So yeah, and you know, it's the beginning of fall. It's the beginning of fall, and people kind of, I think, are like in that transitional, you know, denial phase. It's like, oh shit, summer is done. So they are kind of like maybe resisting coming out a little bit because it's kind of been like overcast and gloomy this past few days. But yeah, I mean, I like coming out in all kinds of weather because you definitely see, you know, a different, in a way, a different New York every time, you know, like with every change.
Hey, we gotta spend a moment now to do camera strap check. Camera
To
strap
what?
check.
Camera strap check. So Gaston here made a custom design for the leatherette of the new Q3. So to match more or less the gray tone, I'm sporting a, you know, Overworth case, just because I like to have a little bit more grip, and it has like a tag, like a space for the ear tag. So I like that. So it's kind of covering the leatherette, but I really like this strap. And Gaston is doing some kind of like sorcery to his cord straps that they end up not being so stiff. So that's something that I'm looking forward to, you know, like a lot of the straps.
Yeah, I haven't talked much about it, but yeah, being manufacturing camera straps, she should be having my camera straps. So we're gonna have to talk about that. But this one, for example, is a cuff, and I do like to just have something very minimal just to go in my bag. So if it's gonna go in, if I go out with a bag, most likely I'm not gonna be bringing the strap. But there is something coming up that I'm gonna show you guys that I'm working on, which is like an all-in-one solution. You can actually check Owl Crown on Instagram. I'll tag it there if you wanna see some of the models. Got to work on the website, a bunch of stuff, but hit me up. Let's go. Just a little update. We're trusting our cameras to these things.
Yeah.
And yeah, battery is actually really good today. Yeah, pretty good.
I think, you know, battery is also funny because it also responds a lot to the weather. If it's too hot or too cold, the battery is definitely going to drain itself faster. Today, I think because the temperature is pretty nice, I think it allows also for the battery to last just a tad, you know, longer.
Let's do a startup check right here. Let's see how long it takes to start up. 1, 2, 3. That's pretty fast. In under a second, the M11 takes about 3.5 seconds, 4 seconds sometimes, depending the weather. So I like the startup time. I would want less, faster, of course, always. And
Yes, I know.
yeah,
We know.
So it's like the SL3, right? Pretty much the same startup time.
Depending. I think the SL3, when it's in standby,
It's even faster.
it's even faster, yeah. That's one thing that I really like about the SL3 is like when it's in standby, it goes up really fast. Otherwise, it's pretty similar to the Q3 28. Oops, I was whistling a song there. I hope you don't get copyrighted, copyright strike, because I was whistling a song. That's something that I always do when I'm out in the street. I'm either singing or speaking to myself or whistling. So here's like Columbus Circle. It's a big hub.
Oh, right over here. Give me a beautiful smile, because you're beautiful.
Thank you.
There you go. Nope.
So, I guess Olivia's getting a fucking amazing photo. Oops, I cursed. But she was getting like a really cool photo. That was really good, Olivia. That is well spotted, amazing. Amazing.
Sorry.
So, this is where I bid you guys adieu. I'm gonna take the train over here.
What is it?
This is Columbus Circle.
Yeah, of course.
You can hang around. Here's Central Park. Yeah, this is like a pretty also like central place. You'll see a lot of like foot traffic around here as well. So it's a nice area. So thanks as
Omar,
always.
thank you for hanging. Don't
give
forget
you
to
back the
return your
microphone.
microphone. I know you want to
Yeah.
take it with you. And
So yeah, I'll see you around.
I'll see you around, yeah. What are you going to do tomorrow? We'll talk, right?
Not sure yet, but we'll get you.
See ya.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, people.
Take care. So we're going to end this video. We're going to start shooting for real now.
Take care.
Now that Omar left, we're going to start shooting. That's good. Great photographer. Omar, what is his Instagram? Omar Robles, Omar. We'll list it in the link in the description. All of them. So thank you for watching this video. Should you have any questions, drop them down below. I know it's a live, but there are more videos coming. Thank you.